On early kits, one of the more difficult parts to form was the headrest. We now pre-bend a curve into the headrest, and then the builder has to make the flanges. So the flanges are 1/2 inch wide, and David's got that marked out here. He's also working on top of a radiused piece of wood. It's give or take a 1/16 inch radius. It doesn't have to be a whole lot because it's soft. And that's what he's going to be hammering the flange over. He's also got this backing block here, which is a 1x, and it's clamped down. That clamp keeps the metal from springing back up. So what we're after here is we want a sharper bend at the front of the headrest and a pretty much non-existent bend right as it hits the end of the headrest. So it's kind of a rotating or a tapering or a sweeping bend. So the only way to do that is by hammering it. Now, watch how David does the hammer work in this. And if you get little kinks or little bends or little weird things on that flange, don't panic too much, because first off, you could straighten them out before you rivet this piece to the fuselage. And also, when you do rivet this piece to the fuselage, you're going to get little puckers there from the rivets. So things are going to hide a little bit. So, all right, David, if you want to go ahead and show us. All right, the headrest is now formed on the bend here. You can see that it tapers to basically nothing right about there. That's what you want. And this side got a little bit overbent, and that was worked back out with a pair of seaming pliers or duckbill pliers. And you can still see a little bit of the overbend here, but if you sand that out and polish it out, it's going to look just like this side. One thing that we do have is a bit of a gap here. Now that gap can still be pushed down to the fuselage, but then this angle changes here. So what we're going to do now is tweak that angle there until we're happy with it. When we push down, we want that angle to match the curvature of the fuselage. And then we'll go ahead and put in this cap here. You can see that cap there. We'll put that in the front, and that'll control the curvature up there. And then once we're happy with how everything is sitting, we'll go ahead and cleco and rivet the headrest. And again, these are 3/32 rivets that we'll be using. They're not the 1/8 inch rivets. Now, if you goof up and use the 1/8 inch rivets, that's not a problem. We're just trying to stick close to how the factory airplanes are here on this one. So you can see here we have the headrest installed now. This is the headrest skin, and we're going to call this the headrest bulkhead. On the headrest bulkhead, the tabs face aft, and they're attached to the skin with anchor nuts and screws. So make sure you have this in the right way. If you don't have it in the right way, it's not a huge problem, but what it's going to cause is some obstacles as far as getting the upholstery in there, just sitting there just nice. So try and make sure that that's in the correct way with the flanges facing aft. You'll also notice that we have these little downturned tabs here on the headrest bulkhead. Those little tabs, put a little bit of rubber on those so that way if people sit on this headrest, it doesn't chafe the fuselage skin. With that in mind, really try hard to keep people from sitting on that headrest, because they could damage it. It's not meant to sit on. You can also see here that we have a joggle that we put in the headrest skin to get up and over this skin here, the number 3 fuselage skin. So to make that joggle, you do it when you have a cleco in this here, and this one is open, and then you just take a block of wood and hammer it down into that corner there, and it forms a nice little raised edge to get over the skin. Now make sure you deburr both the fuselage and the inside of the headrest after you do that, because it will cause a little bit of damage here, some stress risers that you need to get rid of. So as for positioning, you'll notice that the center of this rivet is about 5/16 inches aft of this skin edge. So every airplane is going to be slightly different. If you wanted to move it back a little bit, that's fine. If you want to move it forward, that's fine. Just make sure that you're dodging bulkhead 5 here. And as you can see, the way we have this one positioned, we've got bulkhead 5 in between these two rivets, and then we've got about that much space there on that that rivet there. The harness lugs are riveted to the fuselage skin underneath the headrest. We did that before we installed the headrest, and these are the slots for the harness to come out.